7 o'clock, let's get this meeting started. Let's roll call, please.
Yanni?
Here.
Casanova?
Here.
Painter? Larson?
Here.
Schneider? Ramirez?
Here.
Here.
Okay, start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, agenda items, monthly financial report.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. This report actually is the one from calculations from revenues collected from last Thursday. Sorry. I don't know if there are any specific questions on the report itself. As you can see, we are very positive on the revenue side with the expenditures as well being within the budget. So I'm not sure if there's any specific questions on this financial report.
Questions, anybody? Nope. No questions.
Okay, well, if it pleases you guys, I'll go ahead and move on to the amendment in front of you. I do like to first address that I have just passed out an updated version. The version that was in there, I needed to correct a number. Primarily on the amendment for the police department, line item 3110042, vehicle fuels. That should have been minus of 6,436. The amendment in front of you, what it's doing is basically what we've been talking about since December. We knew that there was going to be some corrections we're going to need to make on that police department. This amendment is addressing that. We are also requesting the amendment to be adopted for the proffers. We're going to include 2,551 of the proffer funds from the Van Meter project in order to offset the additional cost for the furniture, equipment in the clerk and deputy clerk's office space. The intent is to discuss it today, and we can do a retro amendment on the July 10th meeting. I'm not sure if there's any specific questions on that specific amendment. I'd be more than happy to answer.
Anybody have a question? Furniture working out well?
Yeah, I think the layout works great. Customers seem to be really happy. Residents seem to be really happy as well. And I think Ms. Kim and Ms. Alexandra are doing well in there.
Right, piggybacking in the same office. That's good.
Actually, I have a question, Mayor.
Please do.
VRS, is that related to retirement?
Yes.
Why is it going up? Just curious. Why is the budget being increased by 2,000 for that line item?
Because at the time, when we created this budget at the time, we had a different pay scale for the officers. As their pay increases, we have to adjust as well for that.
Okay, this
Yep.
percentage of the...
Correct.
Okay, I see. All right. That's all I have.
Good question.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, last calls. We'll, I guess, put this to a vote on the 10th. Thank you, Roberto.
Thank you.
Now we'll move on to the Architectural Review Board and Planning Commission vacancy applications. So give us a little history, please. Thanks.
Yes, sir. In February, when Councilman Weir was elected as a Board of Supervisor, he was the Planning Commission liaison for the council. And since when he was elected, that opened up a seat. So when you appointed Mr. Biene to the council, he assumed the liaison position for the Plan Commission. So that now opens up his seat. So you still have that one seat, that one vacancy. The plan, you have, I believe, 4 applications in front of you. One came in late on Friday. All qualified applicants, all live in the town. So you would be, out of those 4 applications, be appointing one person to that vacancy. The Architectural Review Board had 2 members whose terms expired June 30th. Both of those members decided not to serve another 4-year term. So you have 2 applicants before you for the ARB vacancies. As you notice, they both have the same last name, so they are a husband and wife team.
We've had that before.
They do live in the town and have shown a lot of interest in serving the town. Mr. Mason was on Planning Commission at some time ago, a couple years ago.
Right.
Joe?
So if we appoint on the 10th, they'll be in position to attend the first
Right,
meetings.
your first meeting would be your Planning Commission meeting. So I believe that's the 19th, no, I'm sorry, the 17th of July.
Okay.
So you would appoint, and then the following week, they would be, I would swear them in at that Planning Commission meeting.
Okay.
The ARB meeting, they rescheduled it to the 26th of July because Councilman Schneider will be out of town, and he would, since he's the chair, he would like to be in attendance, so they moved the meeting to the 26th.
Got it.
So with that appointment, I would swear in those 2 candidates at the ARB meeting on the 26th.
Okay. So how do we want to,
Well, I guess first review, you talked to all of them?
I have spoken with all of them.
Okay, your ranking of energy and the folks on interests and everything, how would you start to rank them?
I would say your top candidate would be Mr. Young, the one that I present, the late application that came in on Friday. He showed a lot of energy and a lot of interest, asked a lot of questions right off the bat about planning, and seemed to have a good planning background.
what about
The
experience?
the other 2, Mr. Robinson and Mr. Panthy, served on Planning Commission before, so they have experience on being on the Planning Commission. And so I would rank them both about the same, and then your last applicant.
Can you pronounce this name, Mr. Mayor, if I may?
Go ahead.
Ponchak,
Singler?
yes.
Sin-
I still cannot pronounce it
Okay.
correctly.
He looks like he's got extensive experience.
It does.
Transportation planning, transportation engineer, master's from UVA, civil engineering.
And he, yes.
I wonder, Mr.
He's a
Mayor,
worker of a current Planning Commission member too, so that.
do we know, I mean, and yes, it seems like he has a relationship or works with or understands VDOT, which is critical, as well as land use planning. Look at this, transportation plans, signal plans, other related elements, comprehensive plans, rezoning, proffers, SUPs. Looks like he's got a pretty good resume.
I agree.
Yeah, it would be a hard decision, I'll tell you that.
I'll tell
You
you,
have you have 4 very good applicants.
Yeah.
You
I
have
would
something,
suggest, this is an unusual, I think, to have for good applicants, is to have them present and having the opportunity to ask questions to them that might change my opinion on what I might think of something on paper versus actually here in front of the council.
And I think that's a good recommendation.
I
Could you
agree.
get them in?
I agree.
On the 10th?
And, you know, you could, I could ask them to come to your July 10th meeting.
That would be great.
And you wouldn't have to make a decision till August. We still have a quorum. We've been wanting with the 4 members since Mr. Weir resigned. So we still have a quorum. So, that's a very good idea, is to invite them to your July 10th meeting to interview them. And then you still have you can make a decision that night or think about it and not make a decision till your August meeting, and they would start in August.
One other thought is maybe set a time for, not that you have to use it as executive time, to, if there was something that needed to,
We
since
could
you
do
are
that. You mean
reviewing for
the meeting
candidates.
on July 10th?
Not that
sir?
you have to use it, but just as a,
Yeah. Prior to your 7 o'clock meeting on July 10th? So,
it's up to,
What do you think, Mr. Mayor?
Mayor,
It's difficult to interview them because of privacy in public. So maybe we do want to hold a closed session for the interview. Do you know, is there any legal issues if we do something like that?
no, that would be within the purview. And I can get Olan to prepare the statement. I was also going to make the comment, a couple years ago, we did go down to a 5-person board because we were having a hard time finding candidates, and it might be something that the council explores going back up to a 7-person board. If you have 4 people in front of you who are highly qualified, we would have to do a small budget amendment to make sure we have the money for the salary, but, that's easily discussed in finance committee. But, if you have people who are interested, it's a good thing. We didn't have that for a long time, so you guys might consider that as well.
Another option?
Yep. So closed session at 6 o'clock before our 10 o'clock, or April 10th meeting,
and maybe,
Definitely.
or July 10th, thank you.
maybe have Roberto give us the impact on this if you appointed all 4.
7-person.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right, it's a very small number, but still a number that has to be looked at.
For 6 p.m. and show the budgetary impact.
Okay.
So that gives us 15 minutes per person, but I don't think we need that long. And I would also suggest, if we're going to do this as we would for any interview, that they would be the same questions.
So, yeah, same questions. So over the next 2 weeks, I guess if we could send your questions to a clerk, Kim, and we can get them together.
And I was also going to suggest maybe if Councilman BNA wanted to assist us, since you are the Planning Commission liaison and you work most closely with the board, if you would like to, maybe we could schedule a time to talk about some questions.
Sure. That's a good idea.
Okay, sounds great. Any more questions with this? Okay, we'll move on then. Town Museum rental update.
This will be a very quick update. We originally were going to have the Arts Alliance be here this evening to give a presentation to the town council, but due to a scheduling conflict with Vice Mayor, we have asked to push that 1 month with the Arts Alliance so that she could be present and discuss this with the council. So we'll be bringing that back at the end of July at our work session. I would like to ask if council is open to doing a 6:30 meeting time so that you guys could hear the presentation from this Arts Alliance and we have time to discuss it. Unless we have a light agenda, then we could do 7 p.m. Didn't know if you guys had a preference that evening.
When would that be?
That would be on July 31st is our work session, last Monday of the month.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
Circle around. Everyone good?
Okay, we'll bring that back. And then another just small update. We are very close with the county to get our occupancy permit over there. We have to go through the Joe program to do it, though. So we are submitting all that documentation. We have to pay the permit fee. So that will be taken care of. Hopefully by the end of this week, everything will be paid. Building official will have an inspector come out, as well as the fire marshal will come back out. They did already visit the space about a month ago. Everything checked out well over there. So we are going through that process, and then our load card should be submitted here shortly for this space.
So, question. So was there a formula for this? X amount of square footage equals X amount of occupants? Or-
I believe that the county has a formula for that, but I do not know the exact formula that they utilize. What they asked me to do is give a floor plan of this space, so I gave them the entirety of the building, and then I designated which areas are public meeting space, and then I got the square footage for them and sent it over. So they'll prepare the load card, they sign off on it as the building official, and then that's what will hang up on the wall. So I can try to learn the formula.
Yeah, I
if they
found
have.
something on the internet, but I don't know how accurate it is, but it looks like Prince William County, and it basically gave a per square foot, like 50 square feet equals one person, or whatever that number was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know when I spoke with Ricky O'Connor, he was stating that when we have this kind of setup up here with the dais table and these 8 chairs, that's designated a little bit differently than all of this space as being open standing room. So he was taking all of that into consideration.
Yeah, be nice to know that formula for future stuff.
Okay.
I would assume would have to pass muster on the fire, life safety aspect, and that would plug into the calculation.
Yes. Yeah, so about a month ago, it was the fire marshal came out and he and I walked through this space as well as the museum space. And so we walked through the entirety of this first floor of the building, and he gave us some tips on things we needed to address, so.
Anything, sorry,
Go ahead.
anything major, like that door should be pushed, go out
No,
versus
the only
pull
major
in?
thing was actually, I believe it's this light right over here, the emergency light. One of them was not functioning properly, so it was a replacement. That was the only major thing. We had two extension cords that were plugged into surge protectors, so that was addressed on site while they were here, so it was taken care of.
Okay. It's good news.
So that's all I have for museum update. It'll come back to you on the 31st of July.
July 31st. Possibly 6:30.
Yes.
Okay.
And again, I'll make a judgment call. If we have a very light agenda, we'll keep it at 7 p.m. But if it looks like it might be a longer agenda, we'll do 6:30. But we'll aim for light.
Works for me.
Okay. Time to move on.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 We have adjourned. 7:20.